Oh, did I not put a title? Oh, well, thought I did. All right, well, I'll add a title when I get off everybody in the wrestling room, but thought I put one there. But I'm here with Coach Mike Diglia outside of Philly in a little area called Bucks County. He's the head coach of the wrestling program there at Council Rock North in PA. They were the 2020 PIAAAAA fifth place team in the championships, Southeast PA regional champs. They placed at Escape the Rock. They placed at Powerade. And this year from his roster, he's got 5 kids going off to D1 schools. So good for you, Coach. Thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate you. And let's talk Pennsylvania wrestling and
let's go. Yeah.
Talk about kind of coming to the end of this, kind of what you've been doing and what you're looking to do moving forward.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Dan. It's been good. And I just want to give you a shout out, getting to know you for just a few minutes. I'm blown away that just in the short time you've been involved in wrestling, you're making big changes and you're finding out that there's a way to make a difference right now, regardless of what the circumstances are. So shout out to you and what you're doing. I'm looking at your the engagement and the views that you're getting and it's pumping up wrestling and it's good stuff. So
yeah, I appreciate it. And I hope I'm making a difference,
Absolutely. We see it and we feel you. And it doesn't take, and when I was having the little conversation before, it didn't take you long to start saying the words community and family and relationships. And that's really what it's all about. And we're kind of tucked away. We talked, we're right outside of Philly in a little place called Bucks County. We are a school district that's split in half. The north side, my side, and the south is the other side. And I wouldn't be nowhere in the world that I'd rather be. It's through and through a wrestling community. It's cool, man. You can feel it in the air. And I know that you're in Florida and I wish some people would, around here and my kids, I wish they would understand, how big and deep this runs. You know what I mean? It's like, this is real and not just that we're in Southeastern PA and not just that we're in, the best, I will say it, but just the access and the resources and the people, our district split in half. I think if you were to put our two teams together, North and South, I don't know what the outcome would be, but I think the wrestling state would be fearful of that because we are, and it's because of going back to community. I'm here in the community, and that's something that's been so important to me. I'm a transplant from Ohio originally. I coached my first probably 11 or 12 years there, and I can kind of touch on that later. But just getting in here and finding a home after I gave up another home, which was my original one, and getting here and digging in, and now I've got it all. I tell my guys I use this word all the time. I call it fully submerged. I'm fully submerged in Council Rock Wrestling. I'm living here. My kids are going to school here. I'm a teacher in the building. I'm a coach in the building. My wife's awesome. My wife's a teacher in the building. Like, we go to the football games. Like, for me, that is what I wanted and what was my vision for what I wanted this all to look like. So I'm blown away. And beyond wrestling and beyond those things, we're one of the best academic schools in the country. And it's amazing. I don't take a day, for granted that my kids and myself and, everyone around me has the opportunity to just kind of go with this because it's a pretty sweet deal and it's a pretty sweet place. So I want to just.
Yeah. And I was telling you, I had a coach here this morning from CFWA down here. And he was rolling with my son for a little bit. And he asked me, "Hey, who you got on today, Dan?" Because, he's been seeing it. And I was showing him and he goes, "Oh, Council Rock North. I heard of them. They got a good program." So.
Wow, that's cool, man. Yeah.
That's awesome. They travel a lot. The high school that he coaches for is Lake Highland Prep, which I'm sure you're not a stranger to the name. And and they've been traveling, so I'm sure he's heard of a lot. But let's talk about your program up there at Council Rock North. You're right in the heart of wrestling country. That Jersey, PA, Ohio, that whole corridor up there is just the wrestling armpit of the world, right? Is armpit a bad word? But
we'll take it.
That's right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But talk about your program, your culture, what you're building, how long you've been there,
Sure. Yeah, it's been an amazing transition. I guess for me, when I kind of would just throw it all the way back, I come from Ohio, and I was able to start coaching at a couple different schools back there, and then I ended up in my home school, and I was completely entrenched there. My family had started that program years ago, and my uncle was really involved, and it was like I was deeply entrenched, and it was my baby, and my wife and I met, and then I ended up coming here, and here's my new community and my new home, and what I was looking for and everything. It's given me that. I think if any young coach or any young athlete out there or anybody involved, when you start building a program, we're not talking X's and O's of wrestling. We're not talking, a club. We're not talking freestyle. We're not talking lifting weights. We're talking our four pillars. We build it on community and family and relationships and leadership, and we circle those round and round and round and round, and everything else takes care of itself. And when we get caught up in our brains and all those things, like we did this last year, I think remarkable happens. And you gave us a shout out for that, that fifth place finish in Pennsylvania here, and the big dogs and the big division. It was nothing short of remarkable. It was all the right people at the right times. I'm taking over for a legendary coach, Tom Vavakwa, who really put all the pieces together at the right time. And it was an army, it was an army of people to get us there, but all of our paths crossed, and we were up there with the biggest names in wrestling, the Bethlehem Catholic, the Nazareth. It was us. We were right there, and it was the dream. So I can't say enough about what just happened, and my gratitude for being part of that, and being part of such a remarkable thing, that he kind of gave me this opportunity, just kind of let it run.
That's awesome, man. And that's good for you, man. That's great. And you spoke about community. I know that means a lot to you. You had mentioned something when we were talking before, that's kind of where it starts, and you like to get into the community and be part of the community and kind of insert yourself.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I think that means that just being part of like all school activities, being at the football games. Like I work with all the coaches in the school. I'm kind of like I do a lot of the virtual coaching, so I'm kind of like helping mentor some. I'm sounding board for some. You know what I mean? And we're all kind of working together, and those are the kinds of things that I'm doing now. I'm sorry, where we were with that? I lost my train.
Yeah, so you did good. The community, you talked about that. And then, so there's four things that you mentioned to me.
Yeah.
In that the four pillars: community, building toughness,
yeah,
growth, and mindset,
mm-hmm.
and then the importance of mental health, which I'm sure growing your mindset and mental health kind of comes together.
Sure.
So, man, the floor is yours. Talk about those four pillars and how you put them in place and what they mean to you.
Okay.
And,
absolutely. Yeah, what I think is that what we all have to understand is we are one person, and we can't do it alone. So every day I'm connecting with someone new who's sharing the vision for Council Rock Wrestling and Council Rock Youth Wrestling and Council Rock North in particular. I'm seeing now, as I call myself a middle-aged coach, I'm seeing all the hands that are on deck. It's remarkable. The people, that I watch, these dads who are driving box trucks from building to building to building. We're having a middle school tournament here, and then we're having a youth tournament here, and then the high school tournaments the next day. It is so much hustle. We host here in our community. Council Rock South hosts one of the best tournaments in the country, Escape the Rock. I get to go sleep in my own bed. We're so blessed and grateful for that. There's just so many moms, the moms get it, like the moms here in PA, they get it, like it's they're the ones, you know what I mean? And I'm getting that now, so I'm a parent too. I'm a father of three, and I'm right there beside them, and we're all living and learning, and it's really been fun. There's there's brothers, we have uncles, we have fathers, sons, you know what I mean? It's cool. And the other piece, and I don't want to forget, you know what I mean? I think that we're blessed with an administration that really on both sides really looks at us and respects the sport. And I know wrestling can have, some things that people from the outside may not understand, but they're very understanding and they're very supportive of us. So again, it all comes together, and we're blessed, and we're going to just keep building all those people. It's like, whatever we can do to make people feel that they're part of the whole. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now are you just the high school coach, or have you began to dive into a local club, youth
Yeah,
wrestling?
I'm a nomad. I've been all over the place in my journey. I'm the high school coach at North, and then I'm also there's no lines for us in our program, and I think that's another thing young coaches like try to make. And this is the hardest thing to do because time is so precious, but we've went out of our way to connect with the middle school kids. We're down there. I'm down there. I'm talking to those kids. I'm going to their matches. I'm being supportive of them. I'm high-fiving when they come off. I'll go with I'll go to a practice and just watch and and I'll take a couple of my studs and they'll watch and they'll it's cool. I got the firepower, why not? So we were able to do some things, and I've got a couple other young coaches at Newtown Middle School, our middle school, who are on board, and they're young and they're hungry and they're sharing the vision, and it's pretty sweet. So now
So you're running all through these communities.
yeah, we went from, we're up to like 50 kids, you know what I mean? And that's an army, and that's a lot of meat, you know what I mean? There's a lot of movement, a lot of go that goes into that. I'm asking two of my buddies, like, you guys going to take 50, 12, 13-year-olds? You know what that looks like. Hey,
Yeah,
man, it's hard work, but we're getting it done. And you know what I mean? Like everybody. So I'm in and out of that. And then I'm involved with our Council Rock, our youth wrestling, we call it CRWA, our youth wrestling program. I coach there. My son is part of that, and I'll touch on that later. And I also am involved. George School is a private school in our community that we're trying to just work. It's one of the highest, best academic schools in the world. Shout out to them, but they've opened their doors and they've been doing really cool things for us. And we've had a partnership and a relationship with them. I coach the Council Rock South coach, Brad Salomparelli. He runs and operates, probably you'll know this name, Apache. It's a warehouse wrestling here in Southeastern PA. It's known as, it's where all the hammers are at. I'm in and out of there. So I got something on site at my house here. My new vision is the PA Wrestling Factory, and that's in process. That's a whole nother thing that I'm all over the place with. It's coming under a fitness factory umbrella. I'm doing
I was going to ask you how you're doing those pull-ups in the trees.
Yeah, well, that's part of the caveman. I'm doing, well, there's three things, and I don't want to jump ahead to the youth wrestling, but I'm giving the community, and I'm giving coaches, and I'm giving people another way to develop wrestlers without wrestling. And I want to talk about that in a little bit, but that's important to me because my son's not ready for full go, and I'm trying to develop him. I'm trying to keep him on the mats. I'm trying to keep his footwork going, you know what I mean, in a fun way. And it's going to be a different path for him. And I think I'm understanding enough to know that, so for me,
you're not the first coach that I've had on that has a little guy that's working, but they're not ready to put him in a full go yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can kind of spin into that. Like, I guess I would just give
talk about youth wrestling, man. Go for it, man.
Yeah. And I'm around the kids, and I make my practices. What I've been able to do at the George School, again, shout out to them. I've been able to trick the kids and not even know that they're wrestling half the time. I call it the athlete factory is what my business is going to be coming under, but we're doing, I'm a big fun kid who's running, jumping, tumbling, making everything a game. I know parkour, I know gymnastics, I know tumbling, I know like Spider-Man, Avengers. Like I know I was an elementary teacher, you know what I mean? Like I can just go with it. And the kids don't know that it's happening. And I'm in the works with a couple other places around here to get some of that going on a larger scale. And I'm excited about that. We're going to call that the athlete factory, but it's not just for everybody becoming an athlete. It's to get kids actively engaged and to give them a positive outlet and to get to make this fun. And there's going to be a mindset piece to that. There's going to be a physical piece, and it's all going to mesh together. But I'm branching these things out, and that's kind of another part of it because I know that the youth model is not for everyone. And I was a 4-year-old wonder boy going, dad coach, I felt that pressure, you know what I mean? And I think I had my best years probably early high school. And I can admit that now, I'm an old man, and in my college career never materialized the way I wanted it to. And it all shook out the right way, but I think I got in too early, too often. And I want kind of everyone to kind of just hear that in my voice, that I think that's important to really follow the emotions of your kids, and don't be afraid to take a month off, a week off, because it's going to serve them down the line. My goal for my son is so entrenched in wrestling. There's coming, oozing out of this house.
Yeah.
My one goal is not for him to be an Olympic champ, a state champ, a regional champ, anything champ. I want him to wrestle his senior year with a big N on his chest, and that's what it's all about for me. So
Yeah, I saw something today.
And I know Kerry Cola has quantified it, and a couple other people, you know, or he's actually the opposite, but I know a couple other guys that I've looked into the sciences that, you know, we have a 10-year competitive window, and I want people to remember, like, when do you want that clock to start ticking? Do you want that to start at 5 years old? So in 15, 16 years old, they're already in their 10th year of wrestling. And it's like, man, I've been to these turns, you know, and again, everybody's different. I got these 6 blue chippers that we're going to talk about that are like going to Iowa State and going to Pitt, and like, but these guys did it, but it's not for everyone. And I want everyone to know that there's got to be interchangeable models. We got to get more flexible. And if anybody wants to contact me with brainstorming ways to make that more athletic, more fun, wrestling without wrestling with, sometimes we'll only put our hands on someone for 10 minutes and we won't go live. That's a level that if we're willing to put in the legwork, we can get the numbers and we can get those kids to jump in and we can get those kids in our sport. So again,
there was I saw something that posted today, and it said, to help kids reach their greatest potential, they need to know that their parents support their effort, not whether they win or lose. Meaning, and I might have messed that up there, know that their parents support their effort, not whether they win or lose. Meaning,
absolutely.
The kids, and that's something that I try to tell my son. And as a teenager, he tells me, go screw yourself, because I'm not happy with my effort. I'm happy with my wins and losses, right?
No, he's at a different level, though. Yeah, no, I get it.
As a parent, I tell him, hey, man, you just went from 0-30 to placing at districts and making the region, and you went 0-2 at regions, but I don't care, because the effort I saw that it took to live through 0-30. Who lives through 0-30? I mean, most kids are like, the hell with that.
No
This
way.
sport
No
sucks.
Way.
So you prove to me that the sport is for you because you just stayed with it.
You stayed up after that. It's for you.
And then we went through it and you got to this point. I'm happy with that. Like, it was the greatest moment in my life to see you get 3rd place at districts.
Yeah.
And I think if he didn't have Rivera in his bracket, he could have came in 2nd. But
You know, I've had the experiences. You know, I've been a coach's son, and then I had the fortune to be able to coach my younger brother, which was another wild experience in itself. My gosh, the emotions. I can go back to me at 24. My goodness, man, I'm glad I'm not around that guy anymore. I'm a little calmed down now. But anybody knows me, I really do. I haven't lost a step, but my brain is a little more.
I love it. And then shout out to your seniors, man.
Yeah, let's get them going. I mean, first of all, up and down the line, I don't know where I would start. The biggest household name in flow wrestling is Cameron Robinson. He's going to Iowa State, going to wrestle for Dresser there. Cam is again, I don't know where to start, because I could go on the accolades forever. He's ranked in the country, blah blah blah. But my son talks about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so sweet. He's so approachable. He's more than any wrestler I've ever seen. He cares about the people underneath him. He cared about giving back. I watched him at our state tournament this year. I had to get out of his way. He led this team through the state tournament fearlessly. You know, and he was a lion. You know what I mean? Like I can't wait to watch him. And I don't know if brands would ever see this, or anyone, but man, Cameron Robbins, like, when he comes and you guys have those battles, I'm ready to watch Iowa State. I'm telling you, this kid lives, eats, and breathes for battle. He doesn't blink or bat an eye. He came up, he was a runner-up 2 years in a row. He lost to Ryan Anderson from Becca his junior year. It was a great battle. Ryan Anderson's a freaking wall who couldn't get through his defense, just strong and great, seasoned, hats off to him. And this year, we came up, we were runner-up again, and just a breath away. But Cam never blinks an eye from anyone. He'll wrestle anybody, anytime, anywhere. I don't know. I could go on and on, but I think what's remarkable about him is that I saw him the week of his state tournament wrestling our JV kids before practice. You know what I mean? And like giving them the time of day. So they don't make them like that. So whoever's getting Kevin Dresser and Iowa State, you're getting the best of the best. And now I'll turn it over to Luke Lucerne, who's going to Navy. And Luke Lucerne is the prodigy Naval Academy kid. He is true and true. He had his mom, we joke about it. He was dressed up in a little sailor outfit at like 5 or 6 years. This kid has the vision. He's got the haircut. He's got the look. He is the real deal. He was a 4-time qualifier for us, 3-time state placer, 2-time semifinalist. Fargo, everything. But again, what it comes back to is he was a family. And I tell you one Luke moment that I will share with you that came full circle is that he was caught up in those results for a while. And then Luke, I could give you a list of, from the kid was 4 years old, the best, but he came and he said to us, his senior year, man, I'm so glad I enjoyed that state tournament with my friends, because the couple years before he wasn't enjoying it with his boys, and now he enjoyed it. So that's just a message for all wrestlers. Like, don't forget the juice, man. Don't forget to enjoy the moment. And when he did, it's like, wow, we were back in the semifinals, here we go again. And he was rocking and rolling and just going, and he's gritty, and he's going to go to Naval Academy, and he's going to own everything that he does. And we, you talk about character, who has one going to the Naval Academy. Now we're going to throw another one that goes to West Point, Dylan Sheehy, who is another, my kids, again, they want him to go to their birthday party. He's an amazing kid. He's a playful young guy who would, again, be around the middle school kids, help them, around the youth, help anybody, anytime. He's a buzzsaw. I don't think he's even tapped in. He was a dual sport, and there's all different models. Remember, guys, you can do any way. He was a football wrestling. I was always like, man, Dylan, when are you going to specialize? You know what I mean? Like, you're a blue chip, you're a Division I wrestler, but he's playing football. I'm like, all right, man, it's your path. You know what I mean? And I'll never tell anybody what their path is, but I'm just watching the kid saying, man, he's gritty, and he's an old school blue collar. I bet you he could do 1,000 push-ups. He's built for the Army. They're going to have to give him a lot, because his work threshold is unreal. And then we also, man, the list goes on. We have another one going to Pitt, Sammy Hayes. State qualifier, Fargo, went out to Fargo, wrestled, another just stud wrestler for us. Resiliency is the name of the game for him. He might be the best story of all. He came up short his sophomore and junior year, right there with the best kids in the state and in the country, really. Came up short with injury, and then came back senior year and made that trip out to Hershey with us, and we were all rocking and rolling. So it was like, what I mean? That was the moment, because Sammy and Luke grew up together, and they were now boys, and now we're all in the big show together. And it was amazing. I think that was the Four Horsemen senior. And then now tailing in, we have a junior, Kyle Hauserman, coming up, who won the Powerade, by the way. He's going to Penn. He's verbally committed to there. And we're excited about him. Smart guy. He's his brother's on the staff with us. Or Timmy Ambacher is his brother. And again, we have that family again. We have a brother, and I'll go on a rant, and I'm rant. So,
Penn is getting some good kids, because I just had a state champ on down here, Jesse Martinez, who's coming to Penn.
Yeah, they're loading up. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Yeah. But Timmy, Kyle Hauserman is going to go to Penn. His brother's coaching with us. His mom and dad are the Booster Club presidents. They're running the concessions. You know what I mean? It's all in. I'll tell you what, there's like 15 of them at any dual meet or tournament. You know what I mean? It's special. And I tell Kyle all the time, man, forget what you've done. Forget what you've done. You look up there and you see your grandma on the stands, you're going to remember that. And he's getting it now. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to tell people what I know now, for the younger guys. And it's pretty sweet. And he's beyond his years, and he really gets it. And we're blessed to have him. And we've got a couple other state qualifiers coming back, Tony Burke and Max Harrar. One back to Kyle Hauserman. He lost his first match his sophomore year at the state tournament, came back and won third in PIA. That's a nails run. I don't know how many people have done that. But I don't know. I'm too, I don't remember things, but I know not too many people have done that. Then we have Max Harrar, a returning state qualifier. He started wrestling as a freshman. So there's no model. He's a big guy. He's an athletic guy, and he listens, he understands. He could, honestly, I'm not kidding you. If you're a Division I coach, watch some film on this guy, Max Harrar. He's the real deal. He's a big version of Luke. It's sweet, and it's amazing that he's going into a senior year next year, and we know he's going to medal high. You know what I mean? He's just drinking the juice, and he's been around greatness. Tony Burke is our last piece of that puzzle. He was our 7th state qualifier this year. I don't want to leave anybody out, but Tony's brother was with us and a state medalist for us, and a 3 or 4 times state qualified. I don't know, but it's all in the family. So we've been blessed with a run, and I don't want to forget, and I don't want to, discount where that all happened. And that happened in our youth wrestling program. Most or all those guys, Cam and Luke and Kyle and all those guys wore.
I just got to say, if I know people watch this more when we're not live than when we're live.
No, yeah. I get it too.
But whoever gets on and watches this needs to share this coach, man. This coach, I've never wrestled in my life, and I'm ready to jump out of my chair and start rolling with somebody. This guy's got so much energy and so much knowledge and so much fun. Please share this, guys. Please share this, guys. Everybody share
that means
this
a lot,
to
man.
everybody, because, man, he's dope, man. He's bringing all the excitement. You can tell the passion and the love he has for his kids just hearing them. Man, whoever's hearing this, whoever's seeing this, please share this everywhere. I clicked share to the Pennsylvania wrestling page. I think they've got to permit me, but I tried to.
Yeah. I'll share you around after this too. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I don't blast it out to I personally can't blast it out anymore. Facebook has new rules, so they kind of cut me off from doing that. I can only do 2 or 3 at a time, but my followers can share as much as they want. And
absolutely, thank you.
Because
thank you.
This guy at Council Rock North is unbelievable.
Thank you, Dan. And I'm going to go a little deeper, because I don't want anyone to think that that they can't be in my position without being I didn't wrestle at Iowa. I didn't have a Division I scholarship. I actually, my college career was a bad experience. I'll tell you what I did. I started coaching a middle school team right after that all happened. And I had a luxury of a string of just older guys giving me the reins from the go. So I always was running the room. And then came technology, and I didn't get to be I can't say I was around these great coaches, but I'll tell you what, Flow Wrestling came and it changed the game for me. I remember one time that when Flow was out for the first 2 years, I watched everything that they had. There was not a video that I hadn't seen or a coach interview that I was just so entrenched that, because before that I was getting DVDs and stuff. And then I found that, and I mean, these are just pieces of all these people with me, you know what I mean? Lou Rosselli from Ohio State. Now he's at Oklahoma, and John Smith is just in my brain. I've listened to everything John Smith's ever said on YouTube. You can find a way, and you don't need to be around. There's not this chosen track or this blue chip track that's for everybody. It's grit and it's work. You know what I mean? My brother always joke around. He grew up in my house when Flow was first coming around and all that stuff. It'd be 6 a.m. and there'd just be whistles because I'm filmed crunching, just anything and everything I can get my hands on. And that's been my path. And I want everyone to know that your path can be whatever you want it to be, and you can be great, however you want to be great. So
that's awesome, man. Well, hey,
thanks,
Dan. God bless you. God bless your team. Bless what you're doing.
Thank you.
Like I said, whoever hears this needs to share it, because he's got a lot of knowledge and energy, and a lot of people should hear what he's preaching.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. That was awesome, man. I was coming out of my body. I was ready to go. So I got 10 questions for you. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Doylestown or New Hope?
Oh man. New Hope. I like the water. Yeah, I like the water.
All right. This is 3 because I couldn't do it one or the other, because there's just 3 that are. I probably could have done 4.
Okay.
Geno's, Pat's, Tony Luke's. I probably could have added Jim's on South Street too.
Yeah. I don't want. Oh yikes! I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm not like a touristy guy. You know what I mean? I'll go. There's some places around here that have some meat and some bread that I know where it's baked.
Perfect.
I don't know. I don't want to give some false info, man. I don't want to give bad cheesesteak info. And personally, I'm kind of burnt out on them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries. South Philly or North Philly?
Oh, North Philly. Yeah, North Philly. I just, for the purposes of that, you just made me so many fans on Make Some Enemies. I just don't have to be around the Philly sports fans, which are very passionate people, but I don't like to go down to the Philly sports complex with the Eagles and the Phillies and the Sixers and the Flyers.
Oh man,
they're passionate. But
I was gonna ask you, Eagles.
I stay up here on the road. Well, it's funny. My brothers are. I'm my brain wrestling. My brothers are really into other sports, and we came, and they're Bengals fans from Ohio, and we went to our first game at the stadium, and it was a bad experience because they didn't understand that. South Philly.
Tell them they're lucky that it's like Citizen Ballpark or whatever it is now, because I experienced the old vet,
Oh yeah.
And the
No,
old vet
that's
was
bad news.
wild. I mean,
Yeah,
I remember my first time going to the vet. I get up and, my wife's in school, so we don't have any money. And I go and I sit up in the 700 section at the
yeah.
vet. And I don't know, I'm thinking, okay, cool, whatever, right? This family, I mean, a family of like mom, dad, kids
Yeah.
walk in with Redskin gear on,
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
sliding through, and the entire 700 section stands up,
Yep.
and kids and everything,
Yep.
asshole.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, this is an experience.
This is
And
real. Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm glad I bought an Eagles hat today. I'm like, it's a good thing I put that on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
Yeah.
I got it. I got that right. So,
Yeah.
uh, Franklin Institution or Museum of Art?
Oh my gosh, man, I'm a teacher. Yikes, this is bad. You know what? I'm an art guy. People may not believe this, but I draw my ideas. So like if anything I visualize, I draw it out. So I'm an art guy for function though. Everything's for function. No TV for for pleasure.
I like it.
Only time you watch anything on front of a camera for me is for function, for betterment of the wrestling world, right?
Oh, that's awesome. So for pizza, Aquafarina or Jules?
Uh, mm, Jules, I'm on a health kick. Yeah,
I like it. Sycamore Grill or Isaac Newton's?
Isaac Newton's wings, done.
Are you a salty guy, Philly pretzel, or a sweet guy, tasty cake?
Oh, sweet all day. Anyone who knows me, I'm a sweet. That's my number one thing, and I'm glad I'm not wrestling ever again because
That's the one thing that I used to love about working in the car dealership when I was up in Philly.
yeah.
The old man would pull up in a car and he'd come out with these bags of hot pretzels.
Yep.
He'd give $1, there'd be 3 in there.
No, you're right.
But
Now, anybody that comes to our area, the mind blowing thing is the value. You can get like 20 pretzels for like $4, and you're like, what?
But nothing tops that Philly tasty.
I always come home with a like this monstrous thing.
But nothing tops that Philly tasty cake, man. That's a good
You know it.
So you prefer the Poconos or Atlantic City?
Poconos, yeah. I mean, I'm not a gambler. I'm not a yeah.
All right, so question number 10. You've come from both these areas, Ohio wrestling, PA wrestling.
No, man, I don't know. I mean, if you want to wrestle in college, you got to come to PA and see what they're doing. The mat wrestling is real, and I didn't buy in, and I liked what I did when I was wrestling because I was going up here. I don't know how you want to do it, but I was up here. I was a short little buzzsaw packed in muscle, and I wanted to go here all day. But now as a coach, I appreciate it. Tom Bavacqua, the head coach, that's been the head coach here for the last I don't know how many years, but he's changed my brain. I'm all day at PA, grind them out like. We've really been able to instill that as part of our toughness initiative. That we our ground and pound is I think is probably scary to some teams, and the way that we're able to build toughness in that regard. So,
man, and what's it like? I mean, what is it like to live, eat, breathe, and sleep Jersey PA wrestling? Like you're right there. I mean, you're right on the line. You're right. Trenton is 30 minutes from you. I mean, I mean, you're Jersey, PA, right there. I mean, that's got to be. What's it like just to be in that heartland of wrestling?
It's the best. Not a moment goes by that I'm not grateful for it, that I'm not appreciative for it. I would not rather be anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? It's historic. It's amazing. The school is great. The people are great. The community and the Council Rock, CRWA, the youth wrestling is as solid as it gets. I don't know that it may be another youth. I hear all these, these big commercialized names, but man, we could throw out a lineup of college kids. Our North and South teams are traditionally in the top 10 in PA. We've had a good run at it, and it's awesome. It's special. And what's even more remarkable about the relationship between the schools is that we've worked together, throughout the year. Brad has built an empire over there, and he's someone who I hold in, one of the highest regards. And he's actually been mentoring me, the rivals mentoring, the student. And it's been amazing. You know what I mean? And he's had me at his club, since I've come up here to, from Ohio, and I'm grateful for that. So it's just like, and I don't want to leave out, my mentor, Tom Bavacqua. It's just been, through and through and through, so many great people and so many great experiences. And I think if you want to be fully submerged, as I said earlier, I recommend, you come to a crossroads as a young coach, get into education. Education needs wrestlers, and special education is what I do. And wrestlers are built for this. Like we get it. We are resilient. We get the growth mindset. We get the, to just stay on top of things. And if you want to, do it right, I think that, the world needs more wrestling teachers and coaching. You know what I mean? We need more coaches in the building, because I think that it's a hard thing, but to really build what, my vision, and I wanted to share my vision earlier. I was happy to do that, but I think that, try to do your best to get in some capacity. And it's not the easiest thing in the world, because I know that, again, I'm grateful for having a teaching job in one of the best districts in the country. Again, here I am, so I know it wasn't easy for me, and I grinded away.
I had Coach Rothenberg on earlier.
Yeah.
I've seen him. He's down in Fort Myers,
sure,
Florida, and he's got a program with the local Down syndrome coach.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the coach. There's a program for the Down syndrome kids, and he brings them into the wrestling room.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. And it's unbelievable. And they had a young man this past year where they brought him out on the mat during a match, and he lettered and he won, and it was super cool that
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that hits home for me. That's my world, and I'm a teacher first and a coach second, and I'm a family man first. So there's a lot going on, but you know what I mean? Like I love my job, and I got nothing but respect for people who do things like that. So I think that's remarkable. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. No worries, man. And listen, like I said, anybody out here, listen to this guy, man. He's powerful, and hit him up, man. He wants to talk to you. He wants you to educate him. He wants to.
Please reach out. We're just starting up PA Power Wrestling. Look us up on Facebook. I know I got to get on all social medias, but we're going to start there. I'm going to get my Instagrams up. My assistant coach is actually putting that together for me right now. Just look for it coming. I'll just keep pumping it out. And I know if my quality is good enough, it'll go. If you look on Facebook now for the PA Wrestling Factory, you'll see my first crazy workout. I fight a tree, because we've been quarantined, and I actually engage with a tree. So it's a 5-minute workout worth looking at. I guarantee you've probably never seen anything like it. So go check it out, and that'll be the start. And
hey, when we get off, go ahead and post all your links and
thanks, man. Yeah,
guide everybody to your place, and
I will.
I can't wait to meet you in person. I can't wait to
let's hook up, man.
And
we're going to keep supporting you. We're going to keep sharing you out, and we're going to keep helping you grow too, because we believe in working together in partnership. So it's good stuff, Dan, man. You're doing good things. Don't think what you're doing isn't amazing. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man. Thank you so much. Keep building great men for our society.
I will. Thank you, Dan.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care.